And we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to CapitalCosm Live. First and foremost, drop me a 1 in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice crystal clear. And before we get started, nothing in this video is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own due diligence. And you read that right. Another margin hike just released by the CME. So this is just off the heels of another all-time high price in silver today. Well, actually, it started last night and it continued over to today, and pretty much in lockstep as to what we looked at in the charts yesterday. Silver broke through 84.50 like we said it would by looking at that little cup and handle pattern it was forming in the minute by minute chart, and it actually broke above 85 and 86 at one point, I believe. Currently, it's retraced back down to 83 some odd dollars, but this is only off the $84, as you can see here, actually. It did hit 83. Now it's back up to 84, but this is coming off the news of additional margin hikes coming from the CME. But this margin hike has a caveat. It's through the notional value. We're going to discuss what that means here in a second, but before we get started, be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does go a long way in helping support me on the channel, and it's a little bit does go a long way. So I do appreciate it, guys. And so let's go ahead and dive right in here. Let's go ahead and take a look at how silver's been behaving since we opened the night just a few hours ago. So you'll notice here, I think the news broke like a couple hours ago. We're about an hour ago, and this is when silver got the news, and it went down from 85, and it crashed down to a low of, I want to say 83, just a little under 83.50. So here's the official notice from the CME group. It says, to receive advanced notification of performance bond margin changes through our free automated mailings. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. As per the normal review of market volatility to ensure adequate collateral coverage, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, it's the CME, clearinghouse risk management staff approved the performance bond requirements for the following products listed below. Please note, CME currently sets margins for gold, silver, platinum, and palladium based on a dollar amount. With this change, CME will be setting margins for gold, silver, platinum, and palladium based on a percentage of notional. The rates will be effective after the close of business on Tuesday. So Tuesday, January 13th. So they should be in effect not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. So these are the current rates. And this is a tweet from TF Metals Report. This is what he says. He says, and here you go, another CME margin hike, and it's clandestine too. Instead of a fixed dollar amount like what they did before, margin will now be computed as a 9% of notional value. Effectively, this raises the dollar amount from 32,500 to over 38,000, or about a 15% hike. Now, what this also does is, yes, now you're required to have even more collateral before going leverage long. So this will definitely make it harder to take on leverage on a long position in silver. But as a consequence, it also squeezes the shorts in a very weird way. We're going to discuss this here in a second. So this tweet reads, CME just raised margins again. This is not normal. The CME group has changed gold and silver margins from fixed dollars to a percentage of notional value. Gold, 5%, silver, 9%. And this basically means that the higher gold and silver go, the more collateral shorts must also post as well. So it's not just the leveraged longs. Now, if you want to go short gold and silver, you're going to need more collateral. So this effectively weeds out the leveraged longs as well as the shorts. So in a weird way, it kind of dampens the move from the shorts and the leveraged longs at the same time. So this means shorting metals just got way more expensive. So you're going to need more collateral if you're going to short the metals. Over leveraged paper traders get squeezed faster, which is what we just discussed. and forced covering equals higher volatility. So as they have to exit their positions, that's going to be more erratic moves in the price of silver and gold and everything else that's been tacked on here. So we've got a super chat from John White here. John, thank you for the super chat. Started watching you over the holidays. I've learned a lot from you the past couple of weeks. Really appreciate the approach and analysis. Keep it up. Thank you so much, John. I'm glad you're appreciating the analysis. I hope you guys are too. Let's go ahead and finish this tweet here. So CME raises margins when the market is under stress, not when it's calm. So this is obviously no coincidence that we hit an all-time high again today. Then they come out with more margin hikes. And I guess they're willing to sacrifice the shorts, because who the hell would go short silver in this market? I mean, you've got to be absolutely bonkers. Like, what are you going short for? You could potentially, I mean, your losses are infinite, and your upside is what? Making 100% gain at best. Paper shorts feel the pain. Physical holders get confirmation. This isn't bearish. This is pressure building. So yeah, this is just more signal, guys. And on top of that, you know, I actually should have mentioned this at the start of the program, but on top of that, you also have Treasury Secretary Bessent convening a meeting with G7 finance ministers to discuss solutions to secure supply chain of silver. So they're starting to, sweat here. So Secretary Bessent, today, Secretary Bessent convened a meeting of finance ministers of the United States Treasury to discuss solutions to secure and diversify supply chains of critical minerals. So this is from the U.S. Treasury directly, and it's not long. We'll read what it has to say. Throughout the course of discussions, attendees expressed a strong shared desire to quickly address key vulnerabilities in critical mineral supply chains. The United States highlighted actions and investments it has already undertaken, as well as planned steps to create resilient, secure, and diversified critical mineral supply chains. So look, if the government is a customer of silver, what more do you want? The government effectively has no budget, seeing that it can just print the money. We've got a super chat here from Eric Hammond. All markets are manipulated. What do you think? Yeah, to some extent, that is true. I think, I think that's what Bob Moriarty said in one of my interviews a couple weeks back, right? But thank you for the super chat, my friend. Secretary Bessent expressed his optimism that nations will pursue prudent de-risking over decoupling, and that they understand well the need to remedy current deficiencies in critical mineral supply chains. Noting that these supply chains have also become highly concentrated and vulnerable to disruption and manipulation, the Secretary urged attendees to increase their supply chain resiliency and thanked attendees for their willingness to blah, 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 blah. So yeah, they are, it's game time, guys. When the government's in on the action, that's it. 112 likes. Let's get those likes up, guys. I see 764, 700 some odd people watching. Let's go ahead and get those likes up, guys. Doing these live streams isn't easy, but I do enjoy them. This next tweet is from Just Dario. Since I feel nobody's paying attention to this anymore, I'd like to remind everyone that the Japanese yen is now less than 2 figures away from triggering chaos in the global financial system again. So the Japanese yen is getting hammered, as you can see here. 158 yen to the dollar. So it's spiking up again. That's connected to the Japanese yen carry trade. Sorry about that. And let's go ahead and pull up the chart here. What's going on in the Japanese debt market as a sidetrack? And here we go. This is the minute by minute. Let's go ahead and take a look at the line here. Let's go to 1 day. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do a candlestick. So yeah, another day, another candlestick higher on the Japanese 10-year yield. This thing is getting out of control. And I agree with the tweet. Not much attention is being paid to the Japanese yen, because when this thing unwinds, it could spread as a contagion across the entirety of the global market. And let's go ahead, while we have the charts up, let's go ahead and take a gander over at silver. And this big green candlestick here was the trading session from earlier today. The one we're seeing right now at the latest, this is the trading sessions that just opened at 6 p.m. Eastern. So you'll notice that we had a wick all the way down to $83.45. The buyers overpowered the sellers, and bada bing, bada boom, we're back in it. We're back in it to win it 85.43. Back in the green, guys. Wow. This is like the opposite effect of what we've been seeing lately when I come on and do a stream. Typically what happens is I'll come on and do a stream and it just crashes the silver price. Now it's like I started the stream like somewhere around here and it was like 83 something. And now it's up like $2. So, you know, they've gone to the well one too many times with these margin hikes. And it looks like they're just becoming less and less effective. So this is the minute by minute candlestick. And you'll notice this is when the news was dropped about the margin hikes, and it dropped the silver price from 85 all the way down to 83.44. And now we're back higher than when we started the night. So remember the first time they did these margin hikes? They crashed the silver price. Well, here, I'll show you. So the first time they did it was back on the 28th, I believe. And that was a big crash here from 84 down to 75. And then they did another one somewhere around here, I believe, like 78, 79. And they crashed it down to 69. And now they just did it a few hours ago, or they just announced it a few hours ago. And silver's pretty much no selling it now. You know, like remember like in WWE when The Undertaker would just like sit up and just no sell his opponent's offense? And that's basically what silver did. Like these guys tried to like choke slam silver through a flaming table, and silver just sat back up like it was nothing. Just no sold it. Some of you guys are saying the prices are still LBMA only. Yeah, but the Shanghai market opened 2 hours ago. So that does have impact on the silver price. So yeah, look at that. This is on the 30-minute candlestick. Boom. Let's go ahead and look at the 1-hour candlestick. And so what I will say is initially when I was looking at this before I went live, I was getting a little worried for the short-term price action, because let me know if you see what I'm seeing here. Because I see a shoulder, head, shoulder. Now, typically in this kind of pattern, when you have a shoulder, head, shoulder, the next move is down. But they don't always work out the way they're supposed to. It looks like this one's bucking the trend. We'll see if it crosses the $86 barrier here, which is the all-time high for silver that we broke earlier today. But it looks like the whole shoulder, head, shoulder pattern has been broken with this recent upside move here. So I think that's been nullified. Yeah, so silver's up 0.4%. Gold is pretty much flat. It's down slightly, 0.09%. Platinum's down 2.2%. But we did have a pretty solid day for the mining stocks, but the mining stocks continue to underperform silver. Mining stocks, SIL was 0.7% today, off a much higher move in the silver price. I think it was like 8%. Let's go ahead and read the daily candlestick today. Yeah, so we had a pretty wicked move up. Yeah, 6% move in the price of silver. SIL also had a pretty nice move, but only up 4%. So the miners still have not begun overperforming the metal, which is interesting. SILJ up 5.4%, but a pretty decent gap between today and the previous day. So that's good news. Interesting price action from oil as well. 59.59. It looks like it's struggling to break that $60 barrier. I wonder if this is why the mining stocks haven't moved. Are they pricing in a higher oil price? Because obviously energy takes up input costs in these mining companies. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Well, again, I should correct myself. They have moved, but not as much as we would anticipate. GDX, we actually haven't looked at GDX. Do I have GDX on here? Here we go. GDX is up. Okay, so first let's go ahead and take a look at gold, and then we'll compare with GDX. So gold was up 1.6% today. GDX was up 3.4% today. GDXJ up 3.57% today. So actually that debunks my theory about oil, because obviously if oil was a factor, if speculators and investors were pricing in a higher oil price as a downside risk for the mining stocks, then clearly GDX and GDXJ would have also taken a licking as well, which they didn't. So I think that disproves it. So what else is happening in the world? Oh yeah, this story broke like a couple hours ago. Saudi Arabia, speaking of gold, Saudi Arabia discovered 7.8 million ounces of gold across 4 sites. People think, so this is from, so that's the announcement. This is the commentary from Vince Lancy. He says, people think these BRICS announcements of gold discoveries are bearish. They're missing the point. Each country is letting other countries know that they have money as well. They're showing that de-dollarization is easier than it looks, and that they have sufficient enough gold to carry their weight in the new system. It's not bearish for gold. It's simply flexing for your business partners and your own people, letting them know that they have plenty of gold too. Most of these discoveries are not new anyways. That's the point in bullionism. Having gold is having wealth. So 7.8 million ounces at $4,500. Let's do a little calculation, on the spot calculation here. What does that amount to? 7.8 million times 4,500. Was it 45 or 46? What's gold at right now? It is 40. So my bad, 4,600. And that gives you, that's about $36 billion in value. So again, the gold market, so to put it into context, the gold market is like a $30 trillion plus market cap. And $35 billion, while it may seem like much, it's not even 1%. Right? Yeah, it's not even 1%. It's like 1/1000th of the total market cap in gold. So total nothing burger. People will, whoever's pushing this stuff, trying to scare people out of their precious metals trade, this stuff is pretty debunked fairly easily. I mean, I just pulled out a calculator here on my computer. You easily see that this is pretty much a drop in the bucket. Trump imposes 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. So yeah, this broke just now as well. So this is from the White House X page, and it says it's from President Trump on Truth Social. Effective immediately, any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay a tariff of 25% on any and all business being done with the United States of America. This order is final and conclusive. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And guess who Iran does business with? China, Russia, India. So we're pretty much running this back. We're going to slap on another 25% tariff on China and Russia. I mean, Russia has been like sanctioned to hell and back since 2022. It's like, do they really give a shit at this point? Forgive my language. So does this really change anything? Like, is this going to convince China to stop trading with Iran? Is this going to convince Russia? This is going to convince Russia, which has been sanctioned and gotten their stuff stolen by the West and frozen, to do anything? I don't think so. And before we move on, guys, I've got to do it. Quick plug for our good quick plug for our good partners over at the Bullion Standard Pro. Oops. I don't know if you can see it now. So speaking of gold, if you're in the market for gold, you can get yourself a nice little 1 ounce of gold for $47.69 retail price today. With a Bullion Standard Pro membership, it comes out to $46.29. If you get 5 of these bad boys, you'll save $671. If you get 10 of them, you'll save $12.82. Now, on the silver side of things, I don't think they may or may not have any Silver Eagles around. We can check. Or you guys could peruse the offerings here. So, for example, these Sovereign Mint 1 ounce silver coins, they go for $88 regular price, $86 pro price. So depending on how many you get, the $35 a month membership will pretty much pay for itself. So we have a special link to that down below. Be sure to check it out and use promo code COSM10 at checkout. All right, let's get back into the nitty gritty here. So breaking, Trump is likely to strike Iran according to Axios. So, I mean, with that happening, if that's truly going to be like a big event, you would anticipate a higher oil price, would you not? Right? And oil's at 59.65. Yeah, it's getting a bid, but it's like not really at the same time. So that's what let's do another checkup on X to see if there's any new news that's come out on silver. So this post is from Owen Benjamin. He says, the last 6 months have been interesting. I knew Bitcoin was a slave trap because of their parasite culture. They want to get rich from nothing. And a lot of the silver and gold culture is based on demanding honesty. They don't want to get rich. They want to exist in reality. A lot of the most enthusiastic silver people, myself included, don't even hold a lot. We pay people with it. People say, make America great again, and reference Kennedy and the 50s and 60s. The last silver coin has Kennedy's face on it because he was passionate about real money as currency. Do you really think it's just wearing a red hat made in China like a moron? Are you guys okay? So yeah, so he's basically making a case for silver as opposed to Bitcoin. And if we are entering this another inflationary spike, gold and silver are rising. Why wouldn't Bitcoin rise if it was in fact an inflation hedge? It's a good point. Yeah, silver's almost It's not even $84. It's almost $100, and it's out of stock. Well, we just looked at some of the rounds you could get the Bullion Standard Pro. So you could get it for, well, this is an American Silver Eagle coin, but you could get a lot of their products for much lesser prices than your typical bullion dealer. So again, be sure to check it out. We just covered this. Becent is having secret meetings with finance ministers now about silver. Oh, it's on. The writing's on the wall. This is from Eric Jung. So when silver was $20, it was your silver. When silver's at $85, it's our silver. Has this happened to you guys? Let me know in the chat. Has this happened to anyone? Silver just overtook Nvidia by market cap. Gold and silver now sit at the very top of the global asset leaderboard. Yep. Gold's at $32 trillion market cap. Silver's at $4.7 trillion. Nvidia's at $4.5 trillion. Oh, look, and it's yours truly. Be sure to check out the Don Durrett video. Don's always a pleasure having on the show. The episode is live right now for those who haven't checked it out. All eyes on silver. The gold to silver ratio is currently at 1 to 55. Historically, this ratio has been around 1 to 10, meaning silver needs to increase 5.5x just to catch up, which means $440 silver is incoming. Well, I have a problem with that. The problem I have is that assumes that gold stays constant at $4,600. If gold moves up to, let's say, from 4,500 to 9,000, you would have to adjust the ratio to that. So it'd be, instead of 440, you'd be looking at 880. So I think we got a super chat from Fuzzy Balls. Trump and Deep State have been doing everything they can to artificially keep oil prices lower, incorrectly believing that it tanked the Russian war effort. That's a very good point, because Russia is heavily dependent on its oil exports. And if they tank the oil market like they're trying to do, that's obviously revenue that's taken away from the Russian side. But at the same time, if they tank it low enough, these companies can't make, these American companies too can't make profit off of it as well. So the sword cuts both ways, but astute observation nonetheless. Mark Westphalen 6008 says, I got divorced at $20 silver. Well, hey, is she coming back now? I'm sure she is, but the question is, do you want her back at $85 silver? What's the old saying? It's not life-changing gains, it's wife-changing gains. Okay, so from Willem Middlecoop, promised you a short squeeze in silver for years. Well, here it is. Yeah, here it is, 92.95. This is from the Shanghai Futures Exchange from last night. Anyone know what the Shanghai number is tonight? Drop it in the chat if you do. Okay, so this one's from Francis. He's quote tweeting Robert Kiyosaki. And I mean, Robert Kiyosaki was one of the gatekeepers that got me into alt finance and stuff, and got me interested in the precious metals, back in 2018, 2019 or so. So this is what Robert says: silver over $80. Is it too late to buy silver? I say no. I would buy silver up to $100 and wait and see. Always remember, pigs get fat. And Francis says, bro sold all his silver for Bitcoin, NSA coin. Did that really happen? Did he really sell all his silver? I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Yours truly popping up on your feed. Now we know silver's about to go parabolic. Yeah, this is in reference to the Secretary Bessent meeting with the finance ministers about silver. All right. So speaking of Don Durrett, let's see what he has to say. My big winners today. Early winners should be the big winners. Check out Hecla. 9% up today. You want to own quality. They will participate. If gold holds $4,500 and silver holds $80 for the rest of the year, most of these stocks will double. It takes time for them to catch up to the metal price. And if gold and silver go higher, that would imply these stocks will become rocket ship. So what has he got here? So this is the percent change. Wait, was this today's price movement? 61% price move in one day? SK, hold on. SK Mining Corp. I need to check this out. SK Mining. Hold on. Oh, he's right. 58% up today. Dang. Don knows his stuff. Well, he owns like 162 stocks, so I'm sure he's got some goodies in the goodie bag there. Let's see what else. Highcroft was up 22% today, but that's nuts. SK Mining Corp. What's the market cap on that? 54 million. That's why. Let's see. Interesting. Yeah, he told me he was going to buy like a gold stock today, but he never told me which one. I wonder if this is the one. Interesting. Yeah, that's a big fat candlestick. What else? Highcroft was up 22%. Impact Silver Corp was up 15%. Cabral Gold, 14%. Paramount Gold, Nevada Corp, 13%. So how about this, guys? Drop me in the chat. What was your best performing silver stock today in your portfolio, if you have any? If you have silver stocks or an ETF or whatever, what was your highest performing one? Because it looks like Don's list goes all the way down to 5.5%, 5.15%. So do you guys have any stocks that would make this cut? Interesting. He deserves a like on that one. Jay Sapo says, have you spoken with Bix Ware? Road to Aruda Theory? I don't know who that is, JS, but thank you for the super chat. Bix Ware? Oops. Road to Ruda Theory? Is that like his name? Yeah, I don't know who that is. Sorry. So let's see what you guys are saying here about the silver stock question. So some of you guys, TARSF, AGQ, AG, Aya, Silver, Hecla. A lot of you guys are mentioning Aya. Interesting. All right. So where were we? Oh, snap. 85.66, 85.73, even better. See, when you live in the present moment and you stop like checking your portfolio and prices and stuff, like that's when the magic happens. But it's like when you're observing it, when you're constantly intent to watching the price go up, that's when it doesn't cooperate. And yeah, 85.65. Pretty strong recovery from the 83.35 low that we kicked off the Shanghai market with. So Eric Jung, our good friend, looks like he got a new ride. Special forces have detained Jerome Powell. So is that it for the news? This might be, let's see. Might be it. Let's go ahead and do one final check on the prices here. 59.69 oil. 10-year yield is going up. It's gone up 2 basis points. 30 years gone up 2 basis points. DXY. What's going on with the DXY? What's going on with the dollar? Looks like it's bouncing off of support here. But Trump does not want a strong dollar. He wants a weak dollar. And looks like we're going to get a Fed chair after Powell that will do just that. So this is all extra juice for gold and silver. Japanese 10 years up, almost 5 basis points. 30-year up, 5 basis points. So we'll just leave it at that. This will be a short live tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are looking to add into your stack, please do so with the Boolean Standard Pro membership. It not only saves you money, it also helps support me and the channel as well. So I greatly appreciate it. Check out the link down below. Use promo code COSM10 at checkout to get 10% off your first month. So, all right, guys, have a good night. Bye.